Welcome back to PRN Test Drive. I'm James, and this is the 2025 Honda Civic Si. Now, for those that are curious, the Civic Si fits right between the Civic Sport and the Civic Type R. But since the Civic Type R is so expensive, the Civic Si is the perfect option for something fun that's got relatively low running costs and is pretty good on fuel economy. It's also a good daily driver that you like to get in and drive. It's sporty. It's got the good styling. You know, it's just the middleman, the perfect middleman, if you will. So if you're American, the 2025 Civic Si just got a whole lot better. If you're Canadian, well, it's a lot of the same stuff that we already had last year. We did not lose anything, which is good news. So for my American friends, you guys now get the heated seats, which quite a few of you complained about last year when you saw the video that you guys in America didn't have it. Well, now you do, and you also get the gauge cluster basically ripped right out of the Type R with the cool shift lights, which again, we already had here in Canada. You're welcome. We were the test case and it worked. It was a good idea. You guys should try it. Now, for Canadians, there is a slight improvement here on the interior anyways, besides the obvious exterior redesign, which we'll talk about a little bit later, but we do have a Google infotainment, which is now a little bit better than it was last year. Last year wasn't broken. This year's just a little bit better because now you got the Google Maps built in and it's a little smoother. But that's enough talking outside the car and just kind of sitting around. Let's get this thing moving, shall we? All right, so on the road, in sport mode, let's see how well I can shift this thing. Let's give it some ribs. Oh yeah. Like, so nothing that's gonna put you back in your seat, but still a ton of fun to shift, very easy to do so. And it kind of goes back to my original point that, well, if you want this thing to be fun and to have fun in it, it'll absolutely work with you. So I'm powered by a 1.5 liter inline 4-cylinder turbocharged with VTEC engine that's giving us 200 horsepower, 192 pound-feet of torque. That is probably my biggest complaint with the Honda Civic Si is that now we're in a world where the Honda Civic Hybrid is faster than the sport-oriented Civic Si. I feel like in 2025 and hopefully maybe in 2026, Honda chooses to squeeze a little bit more horsepower out of this engine or change the engine completely just to give us even 220, 230 horsepower. I don't even need that much, and maybe say 200 pound-feet of torque or 210 pound-feet of torque, just something to give us more you know, I don't want to compete with the Type R. I don't want to get into that range, but just something to give you a little bit more push, because I feel like we've still been using the same powertrain over and over again. But that's not saying that it's a bad powertrain. I do really enjoy this, and it's surprising how much power they've actually squeezed out of this engine, and it makes sense because from what I've been able to see, the running cost of this vehicle is low and the engine is pretty reliable. So that's really good news. And I understand completely why Honda is using it, because if you do want more power, you could just go up to the Type R, but still I would just like to see a little bump in horsepower soon. Now, we do have a stiffer chassis, so the suspension and chassis was retuned, and of course that means we also have retuned dampers as well. They aren't adaptive like you saw on the GLI, but still, I'll take it. It's not a comfortable ride, especially when you go into really big potholey roads and stuff. The ride quality does kind of get affected, but these seats really help. They hold you really well. I feel into the car. I feel like I'm driving the car when I'm going through turns and corners because this thing handles so well. When I'm shifting my gears and stuff, I just feel in complete control of the car, and I feel engaged in the driving experience, and that is why you buy a Civic Si, because you just want your daily driver to be engaging and you want to feel in complete control 100% of the time. And with the Civic Si, you absolutely are all the time. Now, the as-tested price for the Civic Si is $36,100. It only comes in the 6-speed manual transmission, and look, as much as I like my automatics, I'm completely here for Honda only still offering this in manual. It is a good choice. It is, you know, just keeping the manual life alive. And I'll say that this transmission is really easy to use for beginners, super easy. It even has a feature now where you can kind of stall the vehicle. Say you let out the clutch too fast, you can stall the car, and then you can just press the clutch in again and it will restart. So you're not fiddling around, there's no panic, just push the clutch in, the car will restart, and you're on your way. I have tested that. This vehicle really doesn't like to stall. Like, it really took me a lot to get it to stall. Like, I released the clutch kind of like slow and then fast, and it just got me going. You really have to release the clutch extremely fast for the car to even want to stall. It does not want to stall. It does not like to stall, and it's also very forgiving if you are a little bit too fast. So if you're looking to get into a Civic Si and you're not comfortable yet with manual driving, this is the one to learn on. You don't want to buy something like a Type R that maybe will be a little bit less forgiving and also a lot more expensive if something breaks. You want to learn here first and maybe work your way up. And I love that there's kind of that path too. Like, say, because obviously the Civic Type R only manual as well. So say you want to learn, okay, let me get the Civic. I have enough money for a Civic Type R. Let me get the Si. Let me learn a little bit. And then boom, I'll be an absolute ripper when it comes to the Type R later on. And this transmission too, butter, really, really smooth. Easy to find the gears, although there is no kind of gear indicator in the gauge cluster. That's one thing I complained about last year. It's just something for beginners. It's nice to know what gear you're in when you're ripping through gears, or just when you've been driving for a while. Okay, am I in sixth, fifth, what am I in? Because sometimes you look and you don't always know. As a beginner, I didn't always know. Now I kind of can feel where the transmission is. I can feel where the gear selector is. I can also look at my revs. Like, I know where I'm looking for. But when you're a beginner, you don't always know that. So it'd just be nice to that's the only thing you're missing, and this is like the perfect beginner manual, really. Just be nice to see that at some point, but they may be able to do it with a software update. Could be something cool. Honda, that idea is absolutely for free. We also have rev match downshifting, which, as you know, I use it in every single vehicle that it's available in, and I absolutely love it, because when you're driving in traffic or you just want to downshift to maybe kick in some of that engine braking, you know, rev matching is not always the easiest thing to do. Heel toe is not always the easiest thing to do if you really want to do like some sporty driving. So having that rev match shifting system is just really, really good. And again, it makes the driving experience very easy. And you want it to be that way if you want people to continue to buy manuals. And manuals need to sell if you want them to stay around. So I am for all of this kind of aiding technology. I am right here for it because I want to see manuals continue to live. Now, I mentioned briefly the seats, absolutely comfortable, love the design. Interior overall, I love the design. I love the quality. I really like the feel of the steering wheel. I like the physical buttons on the steering wheel. Like I said, last year I had this gauge cluster, but if you're American, you get this really cool gauge cluster with the shift lights right out of the Type R. It looks really good, completely digital, shows you everything except for your gear. But besides that, I really like it. The thing that I also enjoyed was the infotainment display being wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. I liked the built-in Google Maps. I liked the built-in Amazon Alexa. It was good last year. I really didn't feel like they needed to change it last year. But this is a welcome change because now it's just smoother. It's smoother, it's better than it was last year, and I love to see improvements on an already good platform. And I will say, I already told you I'm taking this over the Jetta GLI, right? And obviously the exterior has a big factor, but also the interior. I mean, now the Americans got heated seats. I had that last year. I don't have ventilated seats like in the GLI, but honestly, I don't care. It's not really something I'm going to use all that much anyways. What I do really like, though, is that I've got physical controls for my HVAC, and these knobs and switches feel so good. Really, really good. Premium. Dual zone automatic. Back seats are also heated. I've got a heated steering wheel. I mean, this thing is good for winter. If you put on a good pair of winter tires, even with a front wheel drive vehicle, even if knowing it's manual, I think you'll still be okay. I got a wireless charging pad here. I got cup holders, a little bit of storage, plenty of room in the back seat too for my baby seat, for myself. Got just enough headroom. I've got a sunroof as well. You know, there's just things in here that just make this a great overall sedan, a good overall daily driver, and the trunk space is enormous. I have just one child and I have a wife, so whenever we need to go somewhere, baby seat fits perfectly, plenty of room for that, plenty of room for our stuff in the back, more than enough room for a stroller, maybe even a second one should we have like friends with us or whatever. Like, we got a ton of space in this Civic, and on top of it all, it's fun to drive, and that is where the Civic shines. That is why I'll take it over the Jetta GLI, just because it is the overall package. There's nothing innately wrong with it. It's just a really good daily driver. It doesn't make you want to drive off a cliff because it's so boring. You know, the entertainment, you can have all the fun you want on the road. You don't have to drive into oncoming traffic to make your life a little bit more fun. You know, you just rip around and have a good time. And also, like I'm doing right now, if you just want to cruise on some back roads, perfectly comfortable to do that too. Also got Bose speakers too, so if you're into music, Bose, I always like a good Bose sound system. It's not the most crazy thing, it's not surround sound, there's not like 40 speakers or anything like that, but in a sedan like this, really don't need much more. Bose is where it's at. Beats that disgusting Beats audio that we had on the Jetta GLI. It is just so much better. What a breath of fresh air. So if you're wondering how the Civic Si compares against its closest competition, the Jetta GLI, and which one I would choose, well, you're looking at it. I would definitely choose the Honda Civic Si, just because it's not faster on paper. It doesn't feel faster, no, but it looks a lot better. It looks a lot more sporty. The daytime running LEDs, the just aggressive look. I feel like the Jetta GLI looks like a more normal traffic car, if you will, while the Civic Si kind of stands out just that bit more, and I'm a lot more into that. Also, the manual transmission is a lot better. I know the Jetta GLI comes in a manual transmission, but still, it's a lot better. Now, as for the Civic Si, there's some slight changes for the front, a slight redesign in the front, a slight redesign in the back. The untrained eye, though, you're really not going to notice it. Even me, I had to go back and look at my video from 2024 and kind of compare it to say, okay, yeah, that makes sense. There's a slight change here. Now, there's also been some work done on the door sills because Honda wants to keep its side impact rating as best as possible. And as a dad, I really appreciate that because I do want to drive the sporty cars, but I also really need them to be safe. And it's nice to see Honda take a stab at doing just that. Now, I also have a new paint color. It's called the Urban Gray Pearl. Looks really good with these blacked out rims. Doesn't really do it justice on the camera, but trust me, in the person, it looks very good. We've also got new rims as well that have like a little SI logo on them. I do really enjoy the look overall of the Civic Si. No problems at all here. It's a sporty look. It's a sporty drive. It's a sporty package. So see if you want to have a little bit of fun here before a speed bump comes up. Man, speed bumps ruin all the fun, eh? Oh boy. Man, the handling is just, I don't really have anything bad to say. I mean, I think that's going to do it for my thoughts overall of the Civic Si. I don't think I had much bad to say last year either. Perfect beginner manual should you want to get into it. Perfect stepping stone to the Type R. It's just great. Oh yeah, and you can also rev match into first gear. Now, I don't know really why you'd want to do that, but if you would, you know, I guess if you're kind of repping, you kind of want to get down in first gear, kind of get more torque, you can do it. No problem. So you've got that too. It just keeps giving you more. You know, I don't really know. I'm sure this car is going to be around in 2026. I don't know if they'll give us more horsepower. If they don't, I'll be disappointed. But honestly, it's still worth your money. It is still worth the money that they're asking for it, and that's great. And yeah, again, the Jetta GLI doesn't really have much on the Civic Si for me. It's all, I think when it comes to those two vehicles, it really is preferences. But as always, I want to hear from you. What do you think of this Civic Si? Do you like the new paint color? Do you like the new kind of rims? How do you feel about the redesign? Have you driven one? Are you looking to get into a manual? Or are you a seasoned manual driver and you just really like the Si anyways? Honestly, even seasoned manual drivers, you guys can still have a ton of fun in this thing. It's not only for beginners. You can turn the rev match shift, downshift off. You can turn a lot of the assist off and just drive it like a normal manual or like a manual with no electronic assist at all. And that is really cool too. So I really want to hear your thoughts on it. Why the Civic? Why not the Civic? Tell me everything. And with that being said, make sure you like, subscribe if you like the new formats and the different kind of things we are doing here on the channel. Of course, summer is coming, so filming vehicles is getting a lot easier, like a ton easier. We can do more outside shots, more rollers, more different things, and we're all not freezing ourselves off here, and I'm not catching frostbite every weekend. So it's gonna make our life so much easier, so let's have some fun. You're gonna wanna join us for this summer. With that being said, I'll see you in the next week. See you in the next car. Take care.